The bruise throbs. Alara feels it pulse beneath the concealer she smeared on 20 minutes ago in the bathroom mirror. The makeup is cracking now. She can feel the powder splitting along the swollen edge of her cheekbone every time she forces a smile at the customers. The restaurant hums with the low murmur of wealth. Silverware scrapes against porcelain. Wine glasses clink. The warm glow from the wall-mounted lamps makes everything look softer than it is. But Alara's hands shake as she balances the white plate in front of her. Roasted chicken, golden and glistening, surrounded by small roasted potatoes and asparagus spears arranged like they matter. Table 6 is waiting. She can feel Varric watching her from the kitchen doorway. His eyes always find her when she's struggling. He doesn't have to say anything. The weight of his stare is enough to make her breath catch. Her black vest feels too tight. Her white shirt sticks to her back. The blonde hair she tied into a neat bun this morning is already coming loose. She tucks a strand behind her ear and winces. Wrong side, the bruise side. Hi, viewers. Kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The front door opens. Cold air rushes in, carrying the scent of rain and asphalt. Alara doesn't look up. She's too focused on not dropping the plate. But the room changes. Conversations pause mid-sentence. A fork clatters against a dish. Someone whispers something sharp and nervous. She glances toward the entrance. Her stomach drops. A man stands in the doorway, black suit, unbuttoned patterned shirt beneath it, exposing the edge of vibrant tattoos crawling up his chest and neck. His dark hair is slicked back, sharp enough to cut. He doesn't scan the room like most people do when they enter a restaurant. He searches it. His eyes move with purpose, slow and deliberate, like he's memorizing faces. Alara freezes. No, not here, not now. Her father shouldn't be here. J-Rock's gaze sweeps past the tables of startled diners, past the servers pretending not to stare, and lands directly on her. His expression doesn't change, but something in his posture hardens. His jaw tightens. His hands, which had been loose at his sides, curl into fists. He sees it. The bruise. Alara tries to smile. She forces her lips into something that might pass for normal, for casual, for, "I'm fine, Dad, really." But the makeup on her cheek cracks a little more. She feels it flake against her skin. His eyes don't leave her face, miss. The room is suffocating now. Every breath feels too loud. The hum of conversation has died completely. People are watching, waiting. They don't know who he is, not all of them, but they know power when it walks through a door. Alara takes a step toward table 6. Maybe if she keeps moving, he'll think everything is okay. Maybe if she just finishes this one task, he'll leave. Maybe, "Move faster, Alara." Varric's voice cuts through the silence like a blade. He strides toward her from the kitchen, his shirt sleeves rolled up, his expression twisted into that familiar sneer. He doesn't notice J-Rock, or maybe he does and doesn't care. "Table 6 has been waiting for 10 minutes. And fix your hair. You look sloppy." He brushes past her shoulder. Not hard, not violent, just enough to remind her that he can. Alara's breath catches. The plate trembles in her hands. She wants to apologize. She wants to explain. But her voice is gone, trapped somewhere beneath the bruise and the fear and the weight of her father's stare. J-Rock moves. He doesn't rush. He doesn't shout. He simply steps forward, closing the distance between the entrance and the center of the dining room in 3 measured strides. His shoes click softly against the polished wood floor. The sound is steady, controlled, terrifying. He stops directly between Alara and Varric. The air shifts. Varric finally notices him. His sneer falters. His eyes flick from J-Rock's tattoos to his face, to the way every other person in the room has gone perfectly still. "Can I help you?" Varric asks. His voice is sharp, but there's a tremor beneath it now. J-Rock doesn't answer immediately. He turns slightly, just enough to look at Alara. His expression softens for half a second. Then it's gone, replaced by something cold and unreadable. "That bruise," he says quietly. His voice is calm. Too calm. "Who did it?" Alara's throat tightens. She wants to lie. She wants to say she fell, that it was an accident, that it doesn't matter. But the words won't come. Varric scoffs. He rolls his eyes, already moving to step around J-Rock. It was me. She needs discipline. You know how these shy girls are. Soft, slow, can't handle pressure. The room holds its breath. J-Rock's hand twitches. Just once, barely noticeable. But Alara sees it. And she knows. The storm has begun. What do you think J-Rock will do next? Confront Varric with words or let his reputation speak for him? Alara's fingers tighten around the edge of the plate. The chicken is still warm against her palm. She can feel the heat seeping through the porcelain, but it doesn't compare to the burn crawling up her neck. Her father hasn't moved. Varric shifts his weight, irritation flickering across his face. He's used to people backing down. He's used to being the loudest voice in the room, the one who sets the rules. But J-Rock isn't looking at him like he's a manager. He's looking at him like he's already decided what comes next. Discipline, J-Rock repeats. The word is soft, almost thoughtful. He tilts his head slightly, studying Varric the way someone might study a stain on expensive fabric. Is that what you call it? Varric's jaw tightens. Look, I don't know who you think you are. I'm her father. The words land like a hammer. Varric's mouth opens, closes. His eyes dart to Alara. Then back to J-Rock. The color drains from his face in slow motion. He knows the name. Everyone in Valorage knows the name. The Korean businessman who built an empire no one dares question. The man whose silence carries more weight than most people's threats. Alara wants to disappear. She wants the floor to open up and swallow her whole. This wasn't supposed to happen. She was supposed to be normal here. Just another server. Just another girl trying to make her own way. But normal doesn't exist when your father walks through the door and the entire room stops breathing. Dad, she whispers. Her voice cracks. I didn't know you were coming. J-Rock's gaze shifts to her. For a moment, the coldness in his eyes melts. He sees her, not the bruise, not the trembling hands, but her, his daughter. The girl who used to hide behind his legs when strangers visited. The girl who insisted on reading him bedtime stories instead of the other way around. I know, he says gently, but I'm here now. Varric tries to recover. He straightens his shoulders, forces a tight smile. Listen, if there's been a misunderstanding, there hasn't. J-Rock's voice is still calm, still measured. But the temperature in the room drops. The warmth from the lamp suddenly feels like a lie. Alara takes a step back. The plate wobbles in her hands. A waiter near the bar shifts nervously, glancing toward the exit. No one moves to leave. They're all frozen, caught in the gravity of whatever's about to happen. Varric clears his throat. She's a good worker. Just needs a firm hand sometimes. You understand. J-Rock nods slowly. I do understand. Varric's shoulders relax slightly. I understand, J-Rock continues, that you believe putting your hands on someone weaker than you is leadership. The relief vanishes from Varric's face. I understand that you've built your authority on fear, on making people like my daughter too afraid to speak up. Varric's hands clench into fists. Now wait a minute. I'm not finished. The words are quiet, almost polite. But Varric's mouth snaps shut. J-Rock takes a single step closer. He's not a tall man, but somehow he fills the space around him. His presence presses against the room like a held breath. You will apologize to my daughter. Varric's laugh is hollow. You're joking. I'm not. The two men stand inches apart. Varric is bigger, broader, younger. But he looks small next to J-Rock. He looks like a child caught stealing and trying to bluff his way out of consequences. Alara's heart hammers in her chest. She wants to tell her father to stop, to leave, to let it go, but she can't speak. The words are trapped behind the bruise, behind the weeks of silence, behind every moment she convinced herself it wasn't that bad. J-Rock glances at her again. His expression softens just enough for her to see the father beneath the power. Sweetheart, he says quietly, go to the car. But I'm not angry with you. His voice is steady, certain. I'm angry for you. Alara's throat tightens. She nods slowly, unable to form words. Her legs feel unsteady as she sets the plate down on the nearest table and walks toward the door. Every eye in the room follows her. She can feel their stares, their curiosity, their pity. She pushes through the front entrance and into the cold night air. Behind her, she hears the sound of locks clicking into place. Her father has sealed the doors. Do you think Varric finally realizes the danger he's in? Or is he still too arrogant to understand? The lock echoes. It's a small sound, a single metallic click. But in the silence of the restaurant, it feels like a gunshot. J-Rock stands with his back to the door. His hand rests on the deadbolt. He doesn't turn around immediately. He simply stands there, letting the weight of the moment settle over the room like ash. The diners shift in their seats. A woman near the window reaches for her phone. Her hand freezes halfway when J-Rock's voice cuts through the air. Don't! She pulls her hand back. Varric laughs. It's forced. Too loud. What is this? You think you can just lock people in here? This is insane. I'm calling the... Who? J-Rock finally turns. His expression is calm, almost curious. The police, he continues. The health inspector, the labor board. He tilts his head slightly. Which authority would you like to involve, Varric? Varric's face flushes red. You can't do this. I already have. J-Rock walks forward slowly. His shoes click against the floor in a steady rhythm. He doesn't rush. He doesn't need to. The room bends around him, every person leaning slightly away as he passes. He stops in the center of the dining area, directly beneath one of the warm wall lamps. The light casts shadows across his face, highlighting the sharp angles of his jaw, the dark ink curling up his neck. You hurt my daughter, J-Rock says. His voice is quiet, almost gentle. Do you know what that means? Varric's hands tremble. He hides them behind his back. It was discipline. I didn't... She's fine. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. J-Rock repeats the words slowly like he's tasting them, testing their weight. You hit a 19-year-old girl hard enough to leave a bruise. A bruise she tried to hide with makeup. A bruise she was terrified to let anyone see. He pauses. And you call that not a big deal? Varric swallows hard. His eyes dart toward the kitchen, toward the other staff members frozen near the bar. No one moves to help him. No one even looks at him. I think, J-Rock continues, we have different definitions of what matters. Outside, through the wide front windows, black SUVs begin to pull up along the curb. 1, 2, 3. Their headlights cut through the rain, illuminating the wet pavement. Men in dark coats step out, moving with practiced efficiency. They don't enter the restaurant. They simply take positions along the sidewalk, blocking the street, turning away anyone who might approach. A diner near the back stands abruptly. His chair scrapes loudly against the floor. I need to leave. I have a family. Sit down. The man sits. J-Rock's gaze sweeps the room. No one here is in danger. You're witnesses. That's all. Witnesses to what? Someone whispers. J-Rock doesn't answer. He turns back to Varric, who is backed up against the edge of a table. A wine glass wobbles, threatening to fall. I want to know something, J-Rock says. How many others? Varric blinks. What? How many other servers have you put your hands on? How many people have stood where my daughter stood, afraid to speak, afraid to fight back? Varric's mouth opens, but no sound comes out. J-Rock steps closer. I'm going to give you a chance. One chance. To tell the truth. The room is suffocating now. The air feels thick, heavy, with the kind of tension that makes people forget to breathe. Varric's voice is barely a whisper. I don't know what you want me to say. The truth. I already told you, Sid. You told me what you thought would make this stop. J-Rock's voice drops even lower. But this doesn't stop until I understand exactly who you are. A server near the bar shifts slightly. She's young, maybe 20, with her hair pulled into a tight ponytail. Her eyes are red, like she's been crying recently. She glances at J-Rock, then quickly looks away. But he sees her. He sees all of them. The waiters standing too still. The bartender gripping the counter like it's the only thing keeping him upright. The cook visible through the kitchen window, frozen with a towel in his hands. They all know something. J-Rock's gaze shifts back to Varric. You have 60 seconds to start talking, or I will ask them instead. Varric's face crumbles. The arrogance is gone now, replaced by something raw and desperate. Look, man, I didn't mean 50 seconds. It's just how things are run here. You have to be strict or they slack off, but 40 seconds. I never seriously hurt anyone. 30 seconds. Varric's voice cracks. What do you want from me? J-Rock's expression doesn't change. I want you to stop pretending you're the victim. The young server near the bar takes a single step forward. Her hands are shaking. Her voice is barely audible. He broke my wrist last year. The room shatters. Will more staff find the courage to speak? Or will fear keep them silent? The girl's voice hangs in the air like smoke. No one breathes. No one moves. The only sound is the faint hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen and the distant patter of rain against the windows. Varric spins toward her. Keisha, don't. He told me I dropped a tray because I was careless, she continues. Her voice is stronger now, but her hands still shake. He grabbed my arm and twisted it until something snapped. Then he made me finish my shift before I could go to the hospital. A man near the back of the room, a cook, judging by the flour dusting his sleeves, clears his throat. He docked my pay 3 times for being late. I was late because my kid was sick. He didn't care. Another server, older, with tired eyes, speaks up. He threatened to blacklist me if I reported the sexual harassment. Said I'd never work in this city again. The confessions come faster now. A waiter, a dishwasher, a hostess who quit 2 months ago but came back because she couldn't find another job. Each one adds another crack to Varric's composure. Each one strips away another layer of the authority he built on fear. J-Rock listens in silence. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't react. He simply stands in the center of the room, absorbing every word, every trembling voice, every story that should have been told months ago. Varric's face is pale now. His hands grip the edge of the table behind him so hard his knuckles turn white. This is slander. You can't just... I can, J-Rock says quietly. And I am. He turns to the staff. His expression softens slightly. Not by much, just enough to let them know they're safe. Thank you, he says. I know this wasn't easy. Keisha wipes her eyes. The cook nods. The older server exhales like she's been holding her breath for years. J-Rock pulls his phone from his pocket. He doesn't make a call. He simply types something quickly and slides it back into his jacket. What are you doing? Varric's voice is desperate now. What did you just do? I contacted my legal team. They'll be here in 10 minutes with documentation for every person in this room who wants to file a formal complaint. Varric stumbles backward. You can't! This is my restaurant! No! J-Rock's voice is ice. This is your crime scene. Outside, more vehicles arrive. Not SUVs this time. Sedans. Unmarked, but unmistakable. Federal. The kind of cars that don't show up unless something serious is happening. A diner near the window leans closer to the glass, squinting. Are those? Yes, J-Rock says without looking. Labor Board, Department of Justice, a few others. Varric's legs give out. He collapses into a chair, his head in his hands. This is insane. You're ruining my life. J-Rock crouches slightly, bringing himself to eye level with Varric. His voice is soft, almost kind. You ruined lives every day. You just didn't care because they weren't yours. He stands, brushing an invisible speck of dust from his sleeve. Tonight, you learn what accountability feels like. The front door unlocks with a quiet click. 2 men in suits step inside, followed by a woman carrying a briefcase. They move efficiently, professional, like they've done this 100 times before. They speak to the staff in low voices, taking notes, collecting statements. J-Rock watches for a moment, then turns toward the exit. He doesn't say goodbye. He doesn't threaten Varric again. He simply walks toward the door, his footsteps steady and certain. Varric's voice cracks behind him. Wait, what happens to me? J-Rock pauses. He doesn't turn around. You get what you gave. Fear, powerlessness, the truth. He pushes through the door and into the night. The rain has stopped. The street is slick and shining under the streetlights. Alara stands beside one of the black SUVs, her arms wrapped around herself. She looks small, fragile. J-Rock walks toward her slowly. She doesn't look up until he's standing right in front of her. Is it over? She whispers. For tonight. She nods, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. I'm sorry, I should have told you. I should have... Stop. She looks up, startled. J-Rock's expression is soft now. The coldness is gone. He's just a father standing in the rain with his daughter. You did nothing wrong. Her lip trembles. But I lied. I hid it from you. Because you were scared. That's not your fault, that's his. She breaks. The tears come hard and fast, and J-Rock pulls her into his arms. She buries her face in his chest, and for a moment, the city disappears. There's no empire, no power, no fear. Just a father holding his daughter. What will happen to Varric now that the authorities are involved? Will he face real justice or find a way to escape? The headline breaks at 6 a.m. Silent benefactor shuts down luxury restaurant. Staff speaks out against years of abuse. By 7, it's everywhere. Local news, social media, radio stations. The restaurant's name is trending. Varric's face is plastered across every screen, accompanied by photos of the staff. Some smiling now, some still too shaken to speak. Alara sits at the kitchen table in her father's estate, staring at her phone. The bruise on her face is still visible, though it started to fade from deep purple to a sickly yellow-green. She scrolls through the comments under one of the articles. Finally, someone stood up to that monster. Who is this Korean businessman? I want to shake his hand. This is what real power looks like. She sets the phone down and wraps her hands around a mug of tea. It's gone cold, but she doesn't drink it anyway. J-Rock enters the kitchen quietly. He's dressed casually, no suit, no tattoos visible beneath the high collar of his dark sweater. He looks almost normal, almost like any other father making breakfast for his daughter. You're up early, he says. Alara nods. Couldn't sleep. He pours himself coffee and sits across from her. For a moment, they don't speak. The only sound is the faint hum of the refrigerator and the distant chirping of birds outside. They're calling you a hero, Alara says finally. J-Rock takes a sip of his coffee. I'm not. Then what are you? He considers the question. A father who is too late. Alara's throat tightens. You weren't late. You came. I should have known sooner. I didn't want you to know. He looks at her then, really looks at her, and she sees the guilt written across his face. It's not anger. It's not disappointment. It's regret. The kind that sits heavy in your chest and doesn't go away. Why? He asks quietly. Alara hesitates. She stares down at her hands, at the faint scars on her knuckles from years of clumsiness, at the chipped polish on her nails. Because I wanted to prove I could do it on my own. I wanted to be someone who didn't need your name, someone who earned things. You did earn it. No. Her voice cracks. I earned bruises. I earned fear. I earned the right to hide in bathroom stalls and cry where no one could see me. J-Rock's jaw tightens. He sets his mug down carefully, like he's afraid he might break it otherwise. You think that's weakness, he says. It's not. Then what is it? Survival. The word settles between them like a stone. Alara wipes her eyes. I thought if I told you, you'd pull me out. You'd lock me in this house and never let me leave again. I thought I'd lose the one thing that made me feel normal. J-Rock leans forward, resting his elbows on the table. Normal isn't worth your safety. I know that now. Do you? She meets his gaze. I know you burned his life down because of me. No. His voice is firm. I burned it down because of him. Because of what he did to you and everyone else he hurt. You were the reason I found out, but he was the reason it needed to happen. Ilara's chest tightens. She wants to believe him. She wants to believe she didn't ruin someone's life just by being weak. But the guilt sits heavy in her stomach, twisting and sharp. They're going to hate me, she whispers. Who? Everyone. The staff, the customers. They'll think I'm spoiled. That I ran to Daddy because I couldn't handle the real world. J-Rock shakes his head. They won't, and if they do, they're wrong. You don't know that. I do. He reaches across the table and takes her hand. His grip is warm, steady. Because I've seen the messages, the statements, the people who are thanking you for giving them the courage to speak. Ilara blinks. What? Keisha called this morning. She wanted me to tell you something. What? That you saved her. That she's been carrying the weight of what Varric did for a year. And seeing you stand there with that bruise, seeing your father refuse to let it go, it made her realize she didn't have to carry it alone anymore. Ilara's vision blurs. She bites her lip, trying to hold back the tears, but they come anyway. J-Rock squeezes her hand. You think you're weak because you couldn't fight back, but you're not. You're strong because you survived. And now, because of you, others will too. She shakes her head. I didn't do anything. You existed. You refused to disappear. That's enough. The words break something inside her. She pulls her hand back and buries her face in her palms and shoulders shaking. J-Rock stands and moves around the table. He doesn't say anything. He just wraps his arms around her and holds her while she cries. Outside, the city wakes up to a new story, a story about justice, about courage, about a father who reminded everyone what power should be used for. But inside this kitchen, there's only a girl learning that surviving is its own kind of strength, and a father realizing he should have told her that sooner. Will Ilara be able to forgive herself, or will the guilt of what happened haunt her forever? The voicemail comes at midnight. J-Rock's phone vibrates against the nightstand. He doesn't sleep much anymore. Hasn't in years. So when the notification lights up the dark room, he's already awake, staring at the ceiling. He picks up the phone. The message is from a number he doesn't recognize. He taps play. A woman's voice fills the silence. It's shaky, nervous. Mr. Han, my name is Tanisha. I worked at the restaurant 3 years ago. I saw the news. I need to tell you something. J-Rock sits up slowly. Varric didn't just hurt people physically. He took money. Lots of it. Tips, wages, bonuses. He had this safe in the back office. I saw him put cash in there every week. Money that should have gone to us. I never said anything because I was scared. But now I think someone should know. The message ends. J-Rock stares at the phone for a long moment. Then he dials a number. It rings twice before someone answers. I need you to find something, he says quietly. By morning, his team has the safe. They deliver it to the estate in a black duffel bag. J-Rock doesn't open it immediately. He sets it on his desk and calls the restaurant staff. Every single person who worked under Varric, 23 people in total. They arrive over the next few hours. Some are curious, some are scared. Some just look exhausted, like they've been carrying weight for too long. J-Rock doesn't waste time with small talk. He opens the safe in front of them. Inside, there are stacks of cash. Thousands of dollars bundled with rubber bands. But there's more. Envelopes with names written on them, files, records. A small black notebook filled with numbers and dates. Keisha steps forward. Her hand trembles as she picks up one of the envelopes. Her name is scrawled across the front in Varric's handwriting. She opens it. Inside, there's $200 and a note. Keisha, owed for overtime, January 2024. Never filed. Her breath catches. She looks at J-Rock, eyes wide. He kept records? He kept everything. One by one that the staff members find their names. DeAndre, Aaliyah, Jamal. Each envelope contains money. Each note is a confession. Overtime denied, tips stolen, bonuses erased. Varick documented his own crimes. A younger server named Zion holds his envelope with both hands. Why would he write this down? Control, J-Rock says. If anyone ever questioned him, he could claim he was keeping track to pay them back later. But he never intended to. Tanisha wipes her eyes. This is thousands of dollars. He stole thousands from us. And you're getting it back. J-Rock hands each person their envelope. The room is silent except for the sound of paper rustling and quiet sobs. Some people hug each other. Some just stand there staring at the money like they can't believe it's real. But the notebook is what changes everything. J-Rock flips through it slowly. Each page is filled with entries, dates, names, amounts. But there are other notes too. Names of suppliers, inspectors, city officials, payments marked as consultation fees and expedited permits. Bribes. Varick wasn't just stealing from his staff. He was paying off the people who were supposed to stop him. J-Rock closes the notebook and looks at the group. This goes to the federal investigators, but tonight, Keisha's voice is small. Will it be enough? It's everything. Do you think Varick knew his own records would destroy him? Or did he believe he was untouchable? The courtroom is cold. Not literally. The heating works fine. But there's a chill in the air that has nothing to do with temperature. It's the kind of cold that comes from knowing justice is about to be handed down and not everyone will walk away. Varick sits at the defense table in a wrinkled shirt. His lawyer whispers something urgent in his ear, but Varick doesn't seem to hear. He stares straight ahead, hollow-eyed, like he's already accepted what's coming. The gallery is full. Reporters, staff members, curious onlookers who saw the headlines and wanted to witness the conclusion. Alara sits near the back, her father beside her. She hasn't said much since they arrived. She just watches, hands folded in her lap. The judge enters. Everyone stands. The room settles into silence. The prosecutor presents the evidence, the notebook, the envelopes, testimonies from 23 employees, bank records showing unexplained deposits into Varick's personal account, emails between him and city officials that prove the bribes. It's airtight. Varick's lawyer tries. He argues that his client was under stress, that the restaurant industry is brutal, that mistakes were made, but there was no malicious intent. The judge listens. Then she asks Varick to stand. He does, slowly, like his legs might give out. Mr. Hale, the judge says, her voice steady and clear, you were in a position of power. You had authority over vulnerable people who depended on you for their livelihood. And you exploited that trust repeatedly, systematically, for years. Varick's jaw tightens. He doesn't respond. This court has reviewed the evidence, the stolen wages, the documented abuse, the bribery, the manipulation. She pauses. You didn't just break the law, you broke the spirit of people who had no way to fight back. The courtroom is silent. You are sentenced to 6 years in federal prison. Additionally, you will repay every stolen dollar, plus damages, to each affected employee. You are permanently barred from holding any managerial position in the state of Valeridge. Varick's knees buckle. His lawyer catches him by the arm. The judge continues. I hope you use this time to understand what you took from these people. Not just money. Dignity. Safety. The belief that hard work would be met with fairness. She bangs the gavel. The sound echoes. Varick is led out in handcuffs. He doesn't look at the gallery. He doesn't look at anyone. He just walks, head down, shoulders slumped, like a man who finally understands the weight of his choices. Alara exhales. She didn't realize she was holding her breath. J-Rock places a hand on her shoulder. It's over. She nods, but she doesn't feel relief. She feels something heavier, something complicated. Outside the courtroom, reporters swarm. Microphones are shoved toward J-Rock. Questions fly from every direction. Mr. Hahn, how does it feel to see justice served? Will you continue advocating for workers' rights? What message do you have for other victims of workplace abuse? J-Rock stops. He looks directly at the nearest camera. His expression is calm, unreadable. Power is not about control, he says quietly. It's about responsibility. If you have the ability to protect someone and you choose not to, you're just as guilty as the person causing harm. He doesn't wait for follow-up questions. He simply walks away, Alara beside him. Behind them, the crowd erupts into noise. But J-Rock doesn't hear it. He's already thinking about the next step, the next person who needs help, the next broken system that needs fixing. Because for him, this was never about revenge. It was about making sure no one else's daughter had to hide bruises in silence. What do you think justice truly looks like? Punishment, or preventing the harm from happening again? The restaurant is dark now, not just closed, abandoned. The windows are papered over. A notice from the city is taped to the front door. The warm glow that used to spill onto the sidewalk is gone, replaced by shadows and the faint smell of dust. Alara stands across the street, staring at it. She hasn't been back since the night her father locked the doors. She didn't think she'd ever come back. But something pulled her here tonight. Maybe closure. Maybe curiosity. Maybe just the need to see that it's really over. J-Rock stands beside her, hands in his pockets. He doesn't ask why she wanted to come. He just came. They're tearing it down next month, he says quietly. Alara nods. Good. You don't sound sure. She wraps her arms around herself. I spent months in there. I made friends. I learned how to carry 4 plates at once without dropping them. I know it was awful, but it was also mine. It doesn't have to be gone for you to keep what you learned. She glances at him. What did I learn? That you're stronger than the people who hurt you. Alara looks back at the dark building. She thinks about Keisha, Tanisha, DeAndre, all the people who found their voices because she couldn't hide hers anymore. Do you think they're okay? She asks. I know they are. How? J-Rock pulls out his phone. He opens a group chat and hands it to her. The screen is filled with messages, photos, updates. Keisha got a new job at a bakery. She's smiling in the picture, holding a tray of croissants. DeAndre is back in school, culinary arts. He wants to open his own restaurant someday. Tanisha started a support group for workers who've faced abuse. 20 people showed up to the first meeting. Zion posted a video thanking J-Rock, thanking Alara, saying he finally feels like he can breathe. Alara's throat tightens. She scrolls through the messages, tears blurring her vision. They wanted me to tell you something, J-Rock says. What? That you didn't ruin their lives. You gave them back. Alara hands the phone back. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. I still feel guilty. Good. She looks at him, surprised. Guilt means you care, he says. It means you understand the weight of what happened. But don't let it crush you. Let it remind you why speaking up matters. She nods slowly. Across the street, a couple walks past the abandoned restaurant. They glance at the papered windows, curious, then keep moving. Life goes on. The city keeps turning. But for the people who worked in that building, for the people who survived it, nothing will ever be the same. And that's not a bad thing. Alara takes one last look at the dark windows. Then she turns away. Let's go home, she says. J-Rock smiles. Yeah, let's go home. They walk down the street together, side by side, and the city swallows them into its glow. Behind them, the restaurant stands empty, silent, waiting for the wrecking ball. But the people who survived it, they're already building something better. How do you think communities can support survivors of workplace abuse and ensure it never happens again? Alara sits on the edge of her bed, staring at the envelope in her hands. It's thick, official looking. The return address is from Valeridge Community College. She's been staring at it for 10 minutes, afraid to open it. A knock on the door breaks her trance. Come in, she says quietly. J-Rock enters, carrying 2 mugs of tea. He hands her one and sits beside her. He doesn't ask about the envelope, he just waits. I applied to college, she says finally. I know. She looks at him, startled. How? You left the application on the kitchen counter. I didn't read it, but I saw the logo. She exhales. I don't know if I got in. Then open it. Her hands tremble as she tears the envelope open. She pulls out the letter. Her eyes scan the first line. Dear Ms. Han, we are pleased to inform you. She stops reading. Her vision blurs. J-Rock leans closer. What does it say? I got in. He smiles. Not the cold, controlled smile he wears in public. A real one. The kind only she gets to see. I'm proud of you. Alara sets the letter down. She stares at her hands. I don't know if I can do it. Why not? Because every time I think about starting over, I remember the restaurant. I remember Varric. I remember how weak I felt. J-Rock sets his mug on the nightstand. He takes her hands in his. You weren't weak. You survived. That's not the same thing. It feels the same. It's not. She looks up at him. How do you know? Because weak people give up. You didn't. You kept going. You kept showing up, even when it hurt. Even when you were scared. He squeezes her hands. That's not weakness. That's courage. Her lip trembles. I don't feel courageous. You don't have to feel it for it to be true. The words settle over her like a blanket. Warm, heavy, comforting. She leans against his shoulder. He wraps an arm around her, and for a moment, they just sit there. Father and daughter. Survivor and protector. I'm scared, she whispers. I know. What if I fail? Then you fail. And you try again. She laughs softly. That's it? That's your advice? That's life. She closes her eyes. I wish I could go back. Tell myself it was going to be okay. You can't, but you can tell yourself now. She lifts her head. What do you mean? You survived. You're here. You got into college. You helped people find their voices. You did all of that while carrying a weight no one should have to carry. He looks at her, eyes soft. So tell yourself now. It's going to be okay. Alara's chest tightens. She nods slowly. It's going to be okay. Again. It's going to be okay. One more time. It's going to be okay. And for the first time in months, she believes it. J-Rock stands. He kisses the top of her head. Get some rest. Tomorrow we celebrate. She smiles. Celebrate what? You. Your future. The fact that you're still here. He leaves the room quietly, closing the door behind him. Alara picks up the acceptance letter again. She reads it slowly, letting the words sink in. Then she folds it carefully and places it on her nightstand. Tomorrow, she'll start planning. Tomorrow, she'll figure out what comes next. But tonight, she just breathes. And that's enough. Have you ever had to rebuild after something broke you? How did you find the strength to start again? The bruise is gone. Alara stands in front of the mirror, touching the spot where it used to be. The skin is smooth now, no trace of purple or yellow. Just her, just skin. It's been 3 months since the trial. 3 months since the restaurant closed. 3 months since her father walked into her life and reminded her what protection looks like. She's different now, not fixed, not healed completely, but different. Stronger in ways she didn't know she could be. College starts in 2 weeks. She's nervous, excited, terrified. All of it at once. But she's ready. Downstairs, J-Rock is making breakfast. She can smell the coffee, hear the faint sizzle of eggs in a pan. She smiles and heads down. He looks up when she enters. Morning. Morning. She sits at the table. He sets a plate in front of her. Scrambled eggs, toast, fresh fruit. You didn't have to do this, she says. I wanted to. They eat in comfortable silence. No tension, no fear. Just the quiet rhythm of two people who understand each other. I got a message from Keisha, Alara says. J-Rock looks up. Yeah? She wants to meet for coffee next week. She said she has something to tell me. That's good? Alara nods. I think she's doing okay. Really okay. Because of you. She shakes her head. Because of you. No. His voice is firm. Because of all of us. You started it. I just made sure it didn't stop. Alara finishes her eggs. She takes a sip of orange juice. Do you think Varric will ever understand what he did? J-Rock considers the question. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. But that's not our responsibility. Then what is? Making sure the next person doesn't have to go through what you did. She smiles. That's a big responsibility. It is, but you're not carrying it alone. Outside, the city hums with life. Cars honk, people shout. The world keeps moving, indifferent to the battles fought in quiet rooms and courtrooms and kitchens. But for the people who survived Varric, for the people who found their voices, the world is different now, smaller, safer, more their own. Alara stands and clears her plate. Thank you. For what? For not letting me disappear. J-Rock's expression softens. You could never disappear, not to me. She hugs him. Tight. The kind of hug that says everything words can't. When she pulls back, she's smiling. I think I'm going to be okay. I know you are. She heads toward the door, grabbing her jacket. I'm going for a walk. Be safe. I will. She steps outside into the morning light. The air is cool, the sky is clear. She takes a deep breath and starts walking. Behind her, J-Rock watches from the window. He doesn't follow. He just watches her go. Knowing she'll come back, because that's what survivors do. They leave, they heal, and they come back stronger. The city of Valoridge will remember this story. The Korean businessman who stood up for his daughter. The staff who found courage in the darkest moments. The justice that came not from violence, but from truth. And Alara will remember too. Not as the girl with the bruise, but as the girl who survived it. The girl who helped others survive it too. And sometimes, that's the most dangerous thing in the world, a gentle person who refuses to stay silent. Thank you for watching this story. If it moved you, inspired you, or made you think, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another story like this. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Let's keep inspiring each other. See you in the next story.